Greetings, students. I am Professor Modise, a module lecturer for the Introduction to Grade R teaching. I am from the Department of Early Childhood Education. The purpose of this workshop or this lesson is to introduce you to the way that we communicate with the university, the acceptable way, and to introduce the structure of the module, and we'll also look at assessment. The aspect number one, how to communicate with the university, is not part of the module, but out of Ubuntu in brackets, I would say I felt it very necessary to touch on this because I have realized that we're still lacking in that area as students. Remember, we are training to be teachers, and all that we do has to be conducted in a professional manner. The reason I'm saying that is because when I receive emails from students, sometimes some students, they don't address you appropriately. For an example, you'll find a student writing to you, say hi, and sometimes you find the student have written a message in the subject line. So, because we are in education, I think it's important that sometimes we need to offer some developmental lessons that will assist us. It has been stated also in the tutorial letters how we should communicate with the university. There are a number of ways that I as a lecturer can use to communicate with you, and also you as a student can use to communicate with me and have contact with other students. Projected here are the means of communication, some of the means of communication that you can use. You can contact me as your lecturer at the number that has been provided, 012-429-2269. Or you can contact me through email. The email address is modismr@unisa.ac.za. We also have discussion forums that we are using to communicate with students. And this forum, it's only for module-related issues. And we also have teams that we can use to communicate, and we'll also use teams to have our workshop. Please don't forget to use my live email, and no private emails like Hotmail or Gmail will be used. You have to state your student number when you communicate with the lecturer, and also you have to write your module code. Don't forget that. The reason why you don't have to use a private email, it's UNISA policy not to use private email. And if you communicate with the lecturer with private email, you might not get a response. Actually, you will not get a response. And again, you'll miss important information from the university, because the university, when it communicates with students, it uses my live email. If you have not activated your my live email, please do so. I spoke earlier on that as teachers in the making, we have to handle ourselves professionally. The manner in which we communicate, it has to be a professional way, in a professional way. We receive calls from students, or as a lecturer, sometimes there's a need that I have to call a student, an urgent need that I have to call student. There are telephone etiquettes that we need to use when we answer telephone or when we receive telephone. Greet a caller, introduce yourself if you are phoning. You'll find that sometimes a student phones, she at first doesn't even tell you that he's a student, doesn't tell you the module, doesn't greet you, he just goes straight to the issue that he wants to bring forth. I understand maybe it's because you have limited airtime or what, I don't know really the reasons, but let us try to conduct ourselves in a very professional manner, even when we are on telephones, use proper telephone etiquette. When you speak over the phone, make sure that you speak clearly so that the other person on the other side can hear what you say. Especially when we phone, our telephones now goes directly to our laptops. You find that the student has called you and you struggle to hear. Number one, she speaks very soft, very low. So let's take that into consideration. Be also mindful of your volume. Do not shout or whisper. And when you end the call properly by saying thank you, bye-bye. And when it comes to email etiquette, I have alluded to this at the beginning, that the manner in which we write emails or the emails that I receive from the student, some emails show very clearly that some of our students, they still struggle with using the email, how to write an email. I will show you an example of an email and how you should address the lecturer when you write to the lecturer. Sometimes you write to a lecturer not being satisfied about something in the module, or having noted a mistake in the module, or not happy about your outcomes of assessment. Even if that is the situation, you still have to maintain your professionalism. You still have to maintain your Ubuntu. You still have to maintain your respect. Because in the first place, we are not face to face. You don't know the person you are talking to unless you see the signature of that person. You'll find that some students, when they address the lecturer, they do that in a manner that is very demeaning. And sometimes when I get such emails, I respond back and to say, that is not how you should address your lecturer. And I give advice. So let us be mindful. If you are angry, maybe you have been angered by the marks that you got, rather not write an email at that time to the lecturer to query and wait for maybe the next day. Then you'll be able to focus on what you are writing and make sure that what you are writing is is presented in an acceptable manner. So when we write an email, we have some guiding headings, like where you have to state who the email is addressed to. That's where you put in your address. When I write to you as a student, I will put my live email address. And when you write to me, you will put my email address that I have reflected at the beginning. No private emails when you communicate with the university. When I say the university, I mean also the lecturer. When you communicate with the lecturer, don't use a private email. We have also this section, the CC and BCC. Sometimes you have a complaint. You complain about me as a lecturer, and you are writing to my head, chair of department, or you are writing to ombudsman. You can copy me. I see the complaint. When you have carbon copy me, I will see the complaint. Sometimes you don't want me to see what you are saying about me, but the funny thing of it is that even if you will blind carbon copy. When the you will blind carbon copy. When you blind carbon copy is when maybe you complain about something in the module and you are writing to me as a lecturer, but at the same time, you want my head of department to see the complaint. You hide, you blind carbon copy. I'm not saying you should do that. You rather carbon copy directly so that I can see that you have copied my my chair of department. It's just an example that I'm giving. And we also have the blue bullet circle there, subject line. Subject line is where you have to specify the issue or your topic or something that you want to talk to me about, that you are going to address in your email. Then you write that in a subject line. But I would advise you to write your student number and maybe dash and write the subheading there. Maybe it's assessment 2 query or something like that. But always have your student number or your module code there. Then in the email, you will state what is your problem. Be clear, concise, and use bullets when you write to your or when you raise a concern on writing to your lecturer, so that the lecturer should not miss any information that you have raised or concern that you have raised in the email. And when he responds, you will go bullet by bullet to respond to your queries. This is a feature of an email. Someone might say, Prof. Modise, do you think we don't know features of an email? But this is what I wanted to bring to you and to show you what I am talking about. You see the 2 here is where you write your address, the address of the person you are writing to. Carbon copy is where you are writing to me and you also want my COD, or I'm writing to you and I want my chair of department to see that I have addressed a certain issue that you were raising. I carbon copy. I write here the other person's email address that I want him or her to see the email that I wrote to you. And here, and then there will be what do you call it? There will be blind carbon copy. The blind carbon copy is when you copy someone, but you don't want the recipient of the email to see that you have copied someone. And that person can be a chair of department, like I have said, or the other lecturer that maybe you are doing the same module, but that is not allowed. If you have a query with a lecturer, address your query with the relevant lecturer. Then you come to the greetings. Dear Dr. Matlala, you don't say hi. Dear Dr. Matlala, then you come with your query or whatever you want to address. Bullet number 1, may you kindly guide me on how to approach question 1.1 of assignment 2. When I receive this as a lecturer, I'll see that you have a problem, and I'll go to point number 1, assignment 2, and read assignment 2 and respond. Where possible, I will call you to explain how you should approach that assignment. Point number 2, the module code, you have provided the module code. If you have not provided the module code in the subject line, then you say regards, you write your name. Introduction to the module, teaching in grade R. The module code you are aware of. I want to clarify this. This module used to be a semester module, but it's now a continuous assessment module. When they say it's a continuous assessment module, it means you are not going to have to write exam. From the time you register until the end of the year, you'll be being assessed. That means you must take the work that you do, the assignment that you do, you must give it time. Make sure that you answer correctly. Make sure that you read so that you are competent in that assignment, because it will contribute towards your final mark. That in a short, I can say that is your exam. Every assignment that you write, take it as an exam, because you will not be sitting for exams. This module forms part of the Bridging Course Certificate in Grade R teaching, which will serve as a prerequisite for registration towards B at Grade R. It will serve as a requirement for that. The learning content and activities contained in this module, or what we are going to teach in this module, Introduction to Grade R, it will enable you to understand the Grade R learner. In other countries, they refer to the Grade R learner as a reception year learner, as a reception year class or a reception learner. It will help you to plan and organize the learning content, meaning that it will help you to plan what you are going to teach your Grade R learners. It will also help you to draw up a daily schedule for Grade R learners to cater for their perceptual development, large motor skills, visual perceptual skills, auditory perceptual skills, to implement and monitor the daily schedule. This is what this module will help you. And I'm sure we are all aware, if we have briefly read in the introduction, that this Grade R program is integrated. The subjects are integrated. You cannot say, I teach mathematics and you focus only on mathematics. In that mathematics, there are skills that you have to develop. There is language that is involved. So that is why we are saying it is integrated. And you are going to learn that in this module. The module also will help you to guide you on how to make use of assessment and observation skills to ensure that each learner reaches his maximum potential. Remember, the Grade R's, they don't write tests. You have to observe them regularly. That's their assessment. Their assessment is through observation. So the module is going to teach you or to help guide you on how to assess this learner, so that at the end of the year, you are able to report to the parents, or the end of the term, about the progress of the child. The purpose of this module is to provide an overview of the purpose and nature of the teaching in the reception year. On completion of this module, you will have gained a broad understanding of the nature of childhood development. By the end of the year, you must be able to explain or to understand, you must have understood what is the nature of early childhood development. The implications of teaching a Grade R class. Why do we have to teach Grade R class? It will help you must be able to provide students with useful foundational knowledge for all prospective teachers. When they move from Grade R and go to Grade 1, it must be evident that the learner has been to Grade R because of the knowledge and the skills that you have learned and developed in Grade R. And you as a teacher, you will have supported the child in acquiring those knowledge and those skills, to help you decide whether the reception year is an area in which you would like to specialize in. This module, they say it will help you. After having gone through this module, you'll decide, I still want to pursue a grade R, ECD. You'll get guidance from this module. You'll hear if the module interests you by the end of the year. Then you can continue pursuing your professional development into grade R. Now, each module or each subjects that you do, they have the outcomes. The outcomes are the end products that you have to achieve at the end of the lesson. So the outcomes of this module, specific outcomes of this module, are to develop an appreciation of the purpose and nature of grade R teaching in you as a student. Number two, to plan for effective grade R. By the end of the year, you should be confident in planning for the grade R teaching that you should have learned in this lesson. To develop specific learning activities for grade R classroom. You will learn that. That's the outcome of specific outcome of this module, that at the end, as a student, you must be able to do activities, certain activities for a grade R classroom. Maybe life skills activities, mathematics activities, like if you have to integrate them in other subjects. Now, how is this module structured? The module is divided into 3 sections. You'll see that when you go through your tutorial letter. I'm sure you have opened your tutorial letter, because some students, they haven't. They still write you and ask you questions that are in the tutorial letter. So don't miss to read any page in your tutorial letter. Go through every page, because there is a lot of information there. The module is divided into 3 sections. We have section 1, which has unit 1, unit 2, and unit 3. Section 2, it has only 1 unit, unit 4. Section 3, it has unit 5. Section 1 is about the nature of grade R. And like I have indicated in the previous slide, it has 3 units. Section 1 has 3 units. Unit 1 is about the history of grade R in South Africa. And there you are going to learn about international history of grade R. You are going to learn about the theories underpinning the development of the grade R learner. You are going to learn the grade R learner curriculum and the grade R assessment. You remember I mentioned that you should be, from this module, you will learn how to assess the grade R learner, so that you get feedback about the performance of the learner, and also report back to the parent and also to the child. And that you will do through observation. And then unit 2, which is the purpose and nature of grade R classroom. Here in this unit, you are going to learn about the purpose of grade R classroom. Why do we have grade R classroom? You are going to learn about the teacher-guided activities. I will explain the teacher-guided activities when we get into the daily program, which in other grades is called timetable. You are going to learn about the routines in the grade R classroom, the free play activities, the nature of the grade R classroom. You will understand that the grade R classroom, as you go through this module, is different from other grade R classes. And you can tell, you will be able to tell when you are given 2 classes, a grade R and a grade 1, and they are not labeled. You'll be just able to tell by the features of that classroom that this is a grade R classroom, by the way it has been arranged. And also, what do you need to know about the layout of the grade R classroom? That is what you are going to learn, how you structure the classroom, how you arrange the grade R classroom. Like I have said, that it's arranged differently from other grades. And in that way, you are able to distinguish it from other classes. The third unit is the outdoor teaching and learning environment. Let me say to you that in grade R, we have indoor and outdoor teaching environments. And that will go into detail when we do our workshops or in other recordings where we'll be treating each unit. Yes, where we'll be treating each unit. So unit 3 is about the outdoor teaching learning environment. It focuses on outdoor activities. Grade R, outdoor teaching and learning environment, the importance of teaching and learning environment. We have a case study 1, case study 2, case study 3, and then you learn about structuring the outdoor teaching and learning environment. You remember, we also spoke about structuring the indoor teaching and learning environment of the grade R. So also in unit 3, you will learn how you should structure. You'll be guided on how you can structure your outdoor teaching and learning environment. You're also going to learn about the indoor-outdoor transitions. Indoor-outdoor transitions is when learners move from the indoor activities and when it's their time to go to the outdoor learning environment to be engaged in other activities. That period is called transition. And there should be a smooth transition. We learn how to have a smooth transition from indoor to outdoor or from activities to one activity. The pathways, assembly spaces, the multi-use lawn space, how you are going to use that, the sand play space, and the water play space, which most ECD sites, they don't have this water play space. And we deny children of being exposed to variety of skills that you will learn when we do learning unit 3.